Reported by CNN Portugal, no clue on the source. People, Viktor Gyokeres' agent is currently meeting with Arsenal. Now we've heard this over a number of players. Gyökeres and Sesko probably dominates Arsenal rumors. Probably Man United's where Gyökeres is concerned as well. Everybody's had their opinion. Of course, he can translate his goals from Portugal to England. Someone like Rio Ferdinand is saying, there's a lot of shortcomings. You do argue yourself in the sense of in a day and age where many a team need a striker. He's 27 years of age. He's available, for less than his release clause, which we're going to get into. Maybe he's not. It seems like such a sure bet. Why is no one betting on it? Now, I don't necessarily I don't have. I mean, every player's got concerns and pros and cons, and everybody's a risk or a calculated gamble. But I just feel with Gyökeres, there's mad extremes. Like he's gonna be the guy, no one can miss out on him. Then he's overrated. Portuguese league, look at all the goal scorers. I'm at the point where, as an Arsenal fan, just bring me a striker. I'm quite bullish and excited about what Sesko is as a footballer. I would prefer us to go for Gyökeres because apparently Berta likes him, which goes against what people see. Obviously, it goes against the grain of what we genuinely have done as a club. Anyways, talking about kind of stars of tomorrow. Like you could argue even Declan Rice, when he signed for us, European champion, England international, household name, he's now playing as an 8. And with the greatest of respect to West Ham, in terms of being in title challenges, Champions League, Declan twice, as we call him, he's new to this. We ain't really got no established people. Some even say because of his game against Man City, if you remember it, even though he got a hat-trick, I believe, he did play a 17-year-old. So there's a lot of extreme opinions where he's concerned. Arsenal preparing proposal to sign Viktor Gyokeres amid explosive blackmail accusations from Sporting Lisbon's president, which has shaken up the market. Sporting bosses are believed to have gone against a gentleman's agreement. Gentleman's agreement in business is scary. Gyökeres has an 84 million release clause in his contract, but could lead for less. So within that paragraph and the statement or the opening header of the title, there's quite a lot to digest. Let me know your thoughts on what you've heard so far. If I provoked any thought-provoking comments, would you prefer Gyökeres or Sesko? Sesko or Gyökeres? Neither, both. Let me know all your thoughts, people. Get the creative juices flowing. I just wish Arsenal would sign players. Arsenal are reportedly preparing to formalize a proposal for the signing of Viktor Gyokeres amid explosive blackmail accusations from the Sporting Lisbon president, which are said to have shaken up the market. Federico Varandas responded to reports that a furious Gyökeres had gone on strike after the club refused to honor a gentleman's agreement that would have allowed him to leave for 80 million euros, in brackets 67 million pounds, considerably lower than his release clause of 100 million euros, which equates to 84 million pounds. Apparently, the threats, or the president has claimed the threats, blackmails, and insults will not persuade him to yield from his position. As per Portuguese outlet record, he also insisted he never promised the Swede he could leave for a cut price fee. You see what I'm talking about? According to a bowl of Aranda's comments have shaken up the market for the prolific forward. Some also say people that work in football, we see the reports. Apparently, clubs feel Gyökeres is overpriced, which is interesting considering the fees that have gone around for players and are going around with players. He is linked with Arsenal. He is linked with Man United, as stated. He has been linked with Juventus. He is always linked with Napoli, a move to the Middle East, Paris Saint-Germain, and Chelsea every now and again, and probably 20 million other clubs. The report claims that amid the Messi breakup, Mikel Arteta's side are getting ready to table a proposal for Gyökeres, with his agent said to already be in London discussing a potential deal. Arsenal are in the market for a striker this summer and have been linked with a move for RB Leipzig forward Benjamin Sesko, believed to be their number one target. Some reports even say Sesko has concerns about signing for Arsenal owing to the fact that we're still pursuing Gyökeres. So I guess we will never know the truth, people. So we'll have to see. Apparently, in relation to Sesko, it's thought RB Leipzig would value the player similar to 9-figure sums connected to the likes of Newcastle's Alexander Isak and Eintracht Frankfurt's Hugo Ekitike. Mail Sport report last week that Arsenal are hoping to secure a deal of around 70 million. The developments in the Gyökeres situation could yet see him fetch a similar price in a staggeringly expensive striker market. In his explosive statement on Wednesday, Varandas claimed that Gyökeres would not leave the Portuguese capital for 60 million euros plus 10 million, adding this game that the agent is playing only makes the situation worse. To this day, Sporting hasn't had an offer for Gyökeres, neither today nor last season. Now, that could be lies because there could have been offers and he's just saying there isn't. Again, official offers like a bid being placed and an email being sent to him to just gauge the temperature on their willingness to sell Gyökeres. These are things that can happen. So It's sometimes not a lie, but it's sometimes not the truth, people. We all know Gyökeres has removed any reference of Sporting Lisbon on Instagram. He's also removed Sweden and Nike, which again, it all depends what you want to read into that. Apparently, he has 3 years remaining on his contract in Lisbon, and he's determined to take on a new chapter after just 2 years at the club where he won the league twice. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on in relation to Gyökeres, people. It'd be interesting to see what is happening. Apparently, he told, well, Borges, whoever Borges is, who I believe is the sporting manager, spoke, and he said Gyökeres' sporting future begins on July the 1st. That's all I say. And today I'm here to, above all, salute this tribute that was paid to me. That's all. I'm on vacation. I'm not here to talk about that. So cards are being kept close to chest. David Ornstein apparently said Arsenal are in talks with RB Leipzig over Sesko, which is normal. They're looking into things like fees, release clause, and payment terms. Same with Gyökeres and Watkins. Interesting where Watkins concerned. No decision yet, but they hope to make progress this week or next. So within the next 2 weeks, people. Again, apparently, Gyökeres has told Sporting he will never play for them again. The player is ready to go on strike and will not return for pre-season. The relationship between the club and the player is broken. Manchester United and Arsenal remain interested, people. We're working on the deal to leapfrog Man United and others in the race to Gyökeres, according to Alfredo Padula, I believe. So yeah, people. Crucially, this game his agent is playing is only making the situation worse, in which there's three sides to every story. There's what Gyökeres and his agent are saying. There's what Sporting, the club, are saying. And then there's us with a neutral party that you would love to be told all the facts, painted a picture, and then it's down to you to draw whatever conclusions. Apparently, once again, the Independent are saying Leipzig are currently holding firm on receiving the full release clause for Arsenal target Sesko, a figure which is now understood to exceed £65 million, people. Juventus have been linked with Gyökeres, as stated. Apparently, that has been ruled out, or better yet, a move to Serie A has been ruled out. Again, it's getting a bit messy where things are going on, people. The relationship between the player and the club has reached boiling point. Gyökeres told the club this in the last few hours as a result of the controversy around the gentleman's agreement that has existed since September, that he now understands is being disrespected. Boy, it's interesting, man. It's interesting. I tried to take 3 days off. I came back yesterday. I saw so much information and counter information that it's only fair to come and explain the process, said Verandas as well. It started last year when the 2023-24 season ended and Sporting became national champions. During the transfer market, we saw that he was going to stay because there was no offer. So there's been no offers at two occasions. One of the agent's biggest concerns was whether we would demand the termination clause. Hugo Villa negotiated with the agents over several meetings until the agent demanded the presence of the president. At this meeting, which included the president, the agent, and Villa, Gyökeres was not present. He wanted to guarantee certain things. And what was agreed? That Sporting would not demand a release clause now. For one reason, he was going to be 27, and no player leaves Portugal at 27 for 100 million or 90 million. In the same meeting, the agent wanted to anchor the exit to a value. I said this sentence: it's not worth us setting a value because I don't know what will happen in a year's time. I don't know if it will be 40, 60, 80 million. What I can guarantee you is that I will not demand 100 million euros. So the sporting side, they said we ain't got a gentleman's agreement. We were well aware that we might not be able to get his release clause, but we're not going to set a fee. Maybe that's been interpreted by the agent wrong. From then on, I never spoke to the agent again. I never spoke to the player about the departure or values. Now I see the agent in the press releasing information. I want to make one thing clear. Sporting has common sense and keeps his word. Gyökeres scored 63 goals and 10 assists. Fantastic performance. Certainly one of the best players to have ever stepped onto Portuguese turf. And Sporting will not demand the clause. Sporting will not accept blackmail and insults. One thing is certain. Sporting will not accept 60 million plus 10 million in bonuses. As of today, Sporting have not received any proposal for Gyökeres. So where does that put you lot, them people? The conditions of Rodrigo to Arsenal. Romano has spoken. There's interest from Arsenal. He's a dream target of Arsenal, but there's no negotiation at this point. Rodrigo has never asked to leave Madrid, and the only way to make it happen as a negotiation is for Rodrigo to tell Real Madrid he wants to leave. Rodrigo's intention as of now is to do his best for Xabi Alonso. He sent a message on social media with the word happy, so that's an important development. And apparently Madrid are understood to value Rodrigo at around 100 million euros. I mean, we'd all love him at the carpet, really and truly, but whether that's going to happen, I don't know. Again, we're still seeing rumors about Nico Williams, people. Today, apparently, Bayern Munich are the front runners. However, this article actually says that Barcelona could enter the race again. I'm talking about a player who, until today, we all thought was impossible to ever have links with Barcelona's entourage again. After this call, I think he'll be heard again. Certain things have to happen. If Nico Williams were to make a move to Barca, he'd become number one again. Boy, I'd be surprised if he moves to Barcelona in Bilbao. We don't accept disrespect. That was said by a correspondent of Bilbao people. Chelsea and Arsenal have called to be informed on Joel Hatto's situation. You don't know I'm a big fan of his. Apparently, we are following Chelsea and making inquiries over his availability. Left-footed, 18 years of age, with over 100 caps for Ajax, has captained them on occasion, spent the previous year playing at left back. It makes sense for me, really and truly. It makes sense. I don't know if making the move now helps, or if it, you go somewhere else, or it makes sense to actually stay at Ajax for one more year in a World Cup year and then depart. He's still only 19. From a selfish point of view, I would love him. He's been linked with Liverpool, he's been linked with Chelsea, he's been linked with Arsenal. So it'd be interesting to see exactly what happens here, people. He did say we have covered this before. He did say he didn't want to leave in January. He did say Gravenberch invited him to go and watch Liverpool. I mean, we need him, people. We've been linked with Howson, Victor Rice, Victor Rice, Mark Gurhey, Diamande of Sporting, and now Joel Hatto. Now, links are not necessarily the same, but it's fair to say that we probably will go for a defender, people, whether that's a left back or right back, someone that can play all across the back four, a right-sided centre-half that could play right back, and the same with a left-sided centre-half. I don't know, but I do think we need additions in that regards, people. Now, when we were linked with Napan in January, a lot of fans say, oh, what are we signing the young player for? Now he seems to be going to Manchester City. Everyone's crying like everybody's making moves apart from us. I have no doubt the 18-year-old's talented. He's going to have a good future, all these things. But in a day and age where there's more pressing needs at first team level, if we're going to be angry, let's be angry about maybe not signing Gyökeres, not signing Sesko, not signing both, not having either one, not having Rodrigo, Nico Williams, Rafael, taking long with Zubamendi, regardless of the accountancy stuff. All of those kind of things is where our anger needs to be. And I do think the anger's, or better yet, frustration is misplaced. People, let me know. Smash the like button if you think I'm talking nonsense. But I think it's more frustration. So now the fans are going to bark at anything. We know what we should have done last summer, let alone last January. We can see what's going on elsewhere with clubs, City, Liverpool, United, everybody apart from us. Obviously, there was a lot of optimism with Berta, Mikel Arteta. To the fans, hoping for stuff hasn't helped his case because he was quite bullish towards the end of the year. It does seem like Arsenal's transfers, Zubamendi, the best example, at least to us fans, without knowing everything, is drawn out. So I understand why everybody's barking at everything. But nonetheless, another market opportunity is going to miss at Arsenal. Nico Williams is open to a move to Bayern Munich. The Spanish forward is asking for 20 million euro a year salary. His release clause is 60 to 65 million. AC Milan would only consider selling Rafael for 100 million euros. Sky Germany on Nico Williams is saying he has now signaled to Bayern that he could very well imagine a move to Bayern. Apparently, talks, long story short, are continuing with his camp. Bradley Bacola is still an option for Bayern Munich, in which maybe we should be getting involved. And I've spoken about the 20 million alleged demands of a yearly salary and the 60 to 65 million release clause, people. Which at this point, we don't even know if Arsenal prefer Sesko or Gyökeres. Everything's just being said. We have heard Mikel Arteta is in love with Rodrigo. The coach carefully studied Rodrigo. He's totally certain that Rodrigo would be a superstar at Arsenal playing on the left. Arteta really, really wants Arsenal to sign Rodrigo this summer, says Mario Cortegana, who I believe works for the Athletic. Apparently, Xabi Alonso's even named his strongest 11 for next season, which doesn't say Rodrigo's name. However, once again, Rodrigo is apparently happy at Real Madrid and is convinced that Xabi Alonso's arrival will open many new opportunities for him, help him regain importance at Real Madrid. Seems like he just wanted a bit of motivation then, if I'm honest. Benjamin Sesko apparently wants to go to Arsenal and is energized by the prospect, with personal terms seen as no issue. The primary issue right now is between the clubs, with RB Leipzig currently holding firm on receiving his release clause, now understood to exceed 65 million, people. We have been linked with Mark Gurhey, who has a year remaining on his Crystal Palace contract. It is a World Cup year. Obviously, if he was to sign for us, he would have to believe he could either, take the first team spot of either Gabriel Magalhaes or William Saliba. Apparently, Fulham are interested in bringing Reece Nelson back to their club if an appropriate deal can be reached. Zinchenko is still linked with AC Milan. We've gone over Benjamin Sesko already. So good, I got it twice. You have to respect the hustle, because I don't know still to this day if we're going to get Zubamendi, but we're led to believe that all this Real Madrid hijack stuff was all hot tosh and hot nonsense. However, it hasn't stopped reports saying even though he has an agreement with Arsenal, Martin Zubimendi is waiting to listen to an approach from Real Madrid. At this point, I can't knock the journalist hustle. There's even some journalists peddling articles saying Leroy Sané is still waiting for an Arsenal offer, despite us seeing Ornstein and Romano and all these guys say he's going to Galatasaray in Turkey. Bilbao apparently hope to agree a pay rise and contract extension with Nico Williams to starve of interest from Bayern Munich, Arsenal and Chelsea. That's being said in Marsa. We've gone over the Viktor Gyokeres stuff and a meeting being held, and Arsenal is the club closest to submitting an official offer. The player apparently believes Arsenal's project matches his ambitions, and we're about to make an offer. God knows what's going on there. We've been linked with Anthony Elanga of Nottingham Forest. Any takers? Anybody having him, people? And we've also been linked with Sporting Lisbon's Diamande, as stated. So you can see we want a defender.